So listen, it's not your fault that you are not failing. It is their fault because they refuse to understand that you can't be a failure and you are not born to be a failure. Listen, it's not your fault that you are not losing. God. It's not your fault that you fall and you are rising again. It is their fault that they refuse to understand the fact that the Lord have already made a decree in your head saying, rejoice not over me, O my enemy, that if I fall, I will rise again. So it is their fault because they refuse to understand whom you are. They refuse to understand that you do make a difference. Yes, it is not your fault that you are not failing. Believe me. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to turn it upside down. It is not your fault that you are not failing. It is their own fault because they refuse to understand the fact that you are not a failure. Yes, let's be real. It is not your fault. It is their fault because they refuse to understand the truth that you do make a difference. You do. They don't want to understand it. That is why it's difficult. They refuse to understand that you do make a difference. No matter how hard it is, no matter how painful it may be, no matter how situation you may be encountering, no matter how difficult your life may be, you do make a difference. This is what they refuse to understand. That you do make a difference. They refuse just to understand this. They refuse to understand the fact that you do make a difference. Remember, you do make a difference. It's not your fault that you are winning. It's not the fault that you are not losing. It's not the fault that you are making it. It's not the fault that the arrow that shoot by the day, not the one that shoot by the night, will not come near you. It's not the fault that all the whole evil trap that they set to pull you down, all the whole evil deed that they have did on your behalf, none of them are reaching you because they refuse to understand that in your body you bear the mark of Christ. How can they succeed when you are what you are not whom they thought you are? How can they do what? How can they overcome you when they ought to understand that you are called for uniqueness? How can they overcome you when they know that you do make a difference? How can they do that? They refuse to understand the fact that you are called for greatness. They just refused. They don't want to understand that there's nothing that can build, that can bring you down. No matter the pain, the situation, the trials, the frustration, none of them will be able to bring you down because you do make a difference. Let them be mad, let them be frustrated, let them be hurt, be devastated. But you do make a difference. You are not failing does not mean that what they thought or what they think that you will fail, that means you will fail. You won't, because there's something big about you. There's something make you different. You know what I'm saying? So they know actually that you are made, you are called for uniqueness, but they don't want to understand it. That is why it is hard for them, because you are not called for failure. You are not a failure, you are a winner. Remember, brothers, you are not a failure. They just don't want to understand it because they are wishing and hoping to see you fail. But they don't want to understand that in your body, there's nothing like mark of failure. There's nothing like mark of losing. There's nothing like mark of rejection, frustration, but mark of greatness, uniqueness, and fruitfulness. This is just it. It's not your fault that you are not failing. It is their fault that they refuse to understand that in your body you bear the mark of Christ. Remain blessed.